Hi everyone, today's lesson is going to be titled, and I have the title written here in green, it's going to be titled Graphing Linear Equations in Slope-Intercept Form. Now, slope-intercept form, let's just review for a second. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we've just got done studying slope-intercept form and how to write equations of lines in slope-intercept form. And during those lessons, we realized that when you're in this form, that m represents the slope of the line and b represents the y-intercept of the line. So there's a lot of graphical clues going on here when you have equations in this form. So I've got three equations down here for us. If you take a look down here, in purple, I have y equals 4x minus 3. In red, I have y equals negative 3/4 x plus 1. And in blue, I have y equals negative 3x minus 2. They all have slope-intercept form. So we're going to graph all three of these in different colors on the same coordinate plane, and hopefully this will give you a good comfort level on how to do this. Okay, so let's look at the purple line. Y equals mx plus b. So let's identify our m and then our b. So if I take a look at this, I can see that my m is 4. That's this guy right here, mx. Now, for graphing purposes, what a lot of people like to do is put that as a rise over run. And since it's just a whole number 4, it's not a fraction, you will just put your run as 1. So 4 divided by 1 is 4. So when we graph the rise and the run, that's how many will rise. That's going to be our change in our y values, change in x. Okay, and then my b, which is my y-intercept. So b is the location where the graph will cross the y-axis. That is situated here. If you look at the back end of our equation, that is going to be negative 3. Okay, because y equals mx plus b. Negative 3 or minus 3 is like plus a negative 3. So we're going to cross the y-axis at 0, negative 3. And again, this goes back to when we were writing lines. See, if you go back up here, if you fill 0 in for your x, see, because when you do a y-intercept, you let the x be 0. If you fill in a 0 here, 4 times 0 is 0, minus 3 gives you that negative 3. That's why b on the back end is always the y-intercept, because when x is 0, this is all you got left. Okay, so let's graph it. It's so easy. So what I always tell students is, don't start with your rise and your run, because where are you going to start? How are you going to rise and run when you don't have a starting point? Like, you need kind of like a launching point. Your launching point is your y-intercept. So you actually start with b. So this is sort of where you start. So you're going to plot the point 0, negative 3. So let's go ahead and do that. 0, negative 3 is right here. And that should be on the y-axis because it's a y-intercept. From that launching point, now we will rise 4 and run 1. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1. I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1. If I try to do it again, I'm kind of out of room, so I'm going to stop. Now the opposite, so if I went at some points on the other direction, so instead of going up 2, 3, 4, 1, I could do the exact opposite. Down 2, 3, 4, left 1. And see, that will line you up another point. So you take your ruler, grab mine here, and you connect the dots, and this is the graph of the purple line. Okay, so purple with purple. Beautiful. Okay, let's go to red. The red line says y equals negative 3/4 x plus 1. Okay, so now let me just say this. because you never know what you're going to get when, like, for example, your keystone is printed for you. Just want to make note of something. If you're given this same equation, right? But let's say the negative looks like it's like out in the front, negative 3/4 x plus 1. Sometimes students aren't sure like what to do with this negative. My rule of thumb is this: when your m is a negative, take the negative sign wherever it is, pull it up with the numerator. And you see, I did that. I naturally do that when I write a negative slope. I write y equals negative 3/4. So I put the negative with the 3, negative 3 over positive 4x plus 1. So again, if your negative is sitting in the front, pull it up top with your numerator. And I'll show you why in a minute that helps. Okay, so your m, your slope, is right here, negative 3/4. Negative 3/4. So this will be my rise, and this will be my run. And here's why I do that negative on top. I always like my run to be positive. It's just a thing I like, because running positive means to the right. So to me, it's like I always know if my run is positive, then I'm always going to the right. It's my rise that may change. So if I have a positive rise, I go up the y. And if I have a negative rise, I go down. So it's either up and right or down and right. But it's always right. I can change the up or the down depending if it's positive or negative, but I always like my run to go right. And if you think about it, RR, run goes right. Okay, now my B, or my y-intercept, is going to be the back number here, 1, positive 1. So 0, 1, because when x is 0, check it out, if you put a 0 there, this goes away, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so let's graph it. So we're going to launch off from 0, 1. So 0, 1 is here. And then we're going to come down 3. 1, 2, 3. And right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can do it again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Maybe about right there. I kind of came off the grid there. Now the opposite, this is the only time I go left. I always go up and right or down and right. The only time I will go left is if I'm doing the opposite. So instead of going down 3, right 4, I could go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. About right there, 4. And those points should line up. Get your ruler. You've got yourself a line. Okay. And we've just got one more in blue. So let me change to my blue pen here. Let's identify, okay, the M slope is right here. Negative 3, so negative 3/1. So here's my rise, which will be down, and my run, which is always right, down and right, down and right. And my B, my y-intercept, which is 0, because whenever I do a y-intercept, x is 0, and the leftovers in the back, negative 2. So let's launch from 0, negative 2, 0, negative 2, right here. And then I'm going to go down 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, right 1. I'm going to run off there, so go opposite. 1, 2, 3, left 1. 1, 2, 3, left 1. 1, 2, 3, and left 1. And so my blue line, looking like this. Lovely. So this is your lesson. Thanks for watching. This is graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form.